all me here on GB News on this marvellous Friday afternoon. Well, except if you're in Birmingham, because Birmingham's rat population has trebled after a 3-week bin strike has left 3 million festering wheelie bins left uncollected in Britain's second city, which looks like it's in the third world. And there are even now reports that those rats are getting bigger. They were as big as cats. Now they're as big as sheep. Would you believe it? It's sheer madness who writes this rubbish. Let's join now the Chief Executive Officer of Birmingham-based Pest Interceptors, known to me as the Verminator, the legend, Christan. Christan, look, most people in Birmingham put on their hair out, but I guess for you, business has never been better.
Well, I tell you, we've seen a big spike. In fact, ever since I came on here the other day, we've had such a huge surge in sales because we have an e-commerce website, Amazon, things like that, Shopify, and the amount of rat traps we're selling is crazy. Our blue bar rat traps flying out the door. There's a trap called the Black Cat, which is absolutely fantastic. Sales of them have just gone through the roof.
And in terms of the number of call-outs, I mean, because the council, does the council have its own rats, termination unit? I mean, are they able to cope? And at that point, they're using the private enterprise, people like yourself, Christan, as overspill, right?
Well, I mean, the truth is there's lots of cutbacks. I live just on the side of Birmingham in Dudley. They've just had loads of cutbacks, I believe, as well. Birmingham, I'm not so sure, but the truth of the matter is, if they couldn't cope anyway, what chance have they got now? No chance. Yeah. They've literally got no chance whatsoever. It's getting crazy out there. Some of the photos I'm getting sent by friends over there in Solihull, beautiful area usually, and it's just piling up in the streets, piling up. And the thing is, I think a lot of people are taking advantage now as well, because, if there's rubbish there, who's going to moan if you stick a sofa on top of it and them old wardrobes that you've had in your garage for 10 years? It's like a free-for-all out there.
And meanwhile, Christan, you've said this many, many times, it bears repeating, that if people are just chucking their food waste out, particularly a lot of restaurants, a lot of fast food restaurants, curry houses, chicken shops and the like, they're literally making it an open-air McDonald's. There's no wonder that the rat population has trebled. They're being fed like it's Christmas Day.
It's a perfect storm. It's a perfect storm. To be a rat right now in Birmingham, well, there's nowhere better to be a rat, is there? And like you say, it's all modern food. They evolved to eat grain and different things like that, and now, well, living on a diet of McDonald's and KFC.
And that's it. And you said part of the problem before, Christan, is that multiple occupancy housing, a lot of them, you could even say slum dwellings, they're being crammed in by unscrupulous landlords. The wheelie bins could barely keep up before because the properties aren't designed to have that many people in. The wheelie bins are overflowing. That's before the strike. And now, as you say, there's simply nowhere for it to go. What's it smell like? It must stink.
Well, it stinks to high heaven, mate. It absolutely stinks to high heaven. And, people forget that it's not just that rats are horrible, nasty-looking things and people are scared of rats. It's all the diseases they bring with them as well, I mean, like Weil's disease or Weil's disease, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I mean, that can kill a fully grown, healthy man in 48 hours. A child or an infirm person, 24 hours. And all you've got to do to get that disease is move one of the bins, move something around, get a bit of rat urine on your hand, pick your nose. I shouldn't do that on live TV. Should I rub your eye? Anywhere that urine gets into your body by where it's liquid, that's it. And all you'll think is you've got a bad case of a cold or a bad flu. It's that deadly, wheels disease.
So in your mind then, Christan, I mean, clearly we've got a terrible problem here. We've got a face-off between the council and the union. The council's bankrupt, of course, because that ridiculous gender pay gap dispute they had. They can't afford to pay the bin drivers, they're saying. The unions aren't happy. And meanwhile, the garbage piles up. You're talking here about what seems to be developing some kind of public health emergency if people can get sick this easily.
Yeah, I'm amazed that it kind of hasn't yet, because like I say, it's as simple as that. And don't forget, that's only one of the many diseases they carry: salmonella, all the usual nasty things that you can get off rats. And don't forget where they're coming from. They're coming from the sewers. That's where they come from. They've literally walked through your excrement and then walked over your bins. And then they leave a trail of urine there, which is where you can get all these other diseases. So it's not just the droppings, it's the urine. It's literally the perfect storm for everything. I mean, the NHS can't cope as it is, can it? All we need is a load of people coming down with horrible, third world country kind of diseases,
OK, Christan Hems, we have to leave it there. Apologies to anybody having their tea or attempted to enjoy, but this is the reality. This is the reality of the situation. It's, as you say, the perfect storm. At least we've got someone like you, the Verminator, to try and take back control. Christan Hems, always a pleasure to have you on the show. You take care, mate. Now, the leader of Birmingham City Council, and there, by the way, that's a picture of me there 9 years ago, out rat catching with Christan in the Brum area, the Verminator. There's a rat that was as long as my feet, and I'm a size 11. Now, the leader of Birmingham City Council, John Cotton, has said this: I respect the right to strike and protest. However, actions on the picket line must be lawful, and sadly the behaviour of some now means we are seeing a significant impact on residents and the city's environment.